All right, let's dive into Die with Zero. Not your typical money book, Bill Perkins kind of throws down the gauntlet here. How we think about money, how we live.
Yeah, it really flips the script, the whole rainy day thing, out the window. Especially what gets me is the inheritance bit.
So no more cash under the mattress. What's the alternative then? What's Perkins actually suggesting?
He calls it life energy, right? Like
Okay.
every dollar, it's a piece of your time, your effort, and it's limited. So spend it on stuff that matters, experiences, don't hoard it, ideally use it all up, zero when you die, hence the title.
Okay, I get that. But he's not saying quit your job, buy a Lambo, is he? There's got to be more to it.
Oh, absolutely, not reckless spending at all. It's more like strategic. Money doesn't hit the same at every age.
Yeah.
A dollar at 30, pure enjoyment maybe. Same dollar at 50, half the joy. Health, energy, even what you're into changes.
Like money has an expiration date then, at least for how much we get out of it.
And that's where his friend Jason comes in. Early 20s, took a huge risk. Borrowed from a loan shark to backpack Europe.
Whoa, loan shark.
Ugh.
That's intense. Isn't that encouraging bad habits? Especially for young folks. Where's the planning there?
You see, Perkins says Jason got it, though. At that age, the experience, the memories, worth more than the risk, came back, changed. Sometimes the best investments aren't money, right?
So bold moves, even if they're financially scary, can pay off big time, but in life experience, not dollars.
Exactly. And he ties this to memory dividends. Enjoyment doesn't end when the trip's over. You relive it, those memories, extra value forever.
So they become like assets themselves, appreciating. As we connect them to other stuff, share them.
Totally. And he has this great story, made an iPad for his dad, aging guy, ex-football star, couldn't do the stuff anymore, but the memories brought him so much joy, powerful stuff.
As we age, those experiences, they become priceless. Wealth you can't measure, right? So much advice is return on equity, but Perkins is saying return on experience. I like that.
Yeah, return on experience. He uses this friend, Polly, had this rundown property, convinced it'd go up in value, hanging on tight. Perkins is like, dude, you're missing out now. Sell it, invest, use some to enjoy life today.
It's true. We get so fixated on the financial future. We forget about the returns we can get right now from actually living. But what about retirement then? How does this fit into saving for later?
Oh, he goes right at that, challenges the whole idea of always growing your net worth. Instead, he says, find your net worth peak, and it's a date, not a dollar amount. When your savings are highest, before you start spending down.
Whoa, this is totally different. Everyone says save, 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 Perkins is saying. There's a point where you switch to spending.
And that's huge E, both money-wise and in your head. We're programmed to think saving's good, spending's bad. He's saying spending, at least on the right things, is an investment in, your overall well-being.
It's a whole different mindset, isn't it? From scarcity to abundance, not worrying about running out.
Yeah.
But focusing on how to use what you've got to enjoy life.
Exactly, and that leads us to time bucketing, key part of this whole die with zero thing.
Time buckets, okay. Is that like a bucket list? Always seem kind of morbid to me. Stuff you got to do before, well, you kick the bucket.
Bucket list is reactive, Time's running out, haven't done what you wanted. Time bucketing's different, it's proactive.
So not a panicked scramble, but more like being deliberate about how you want to spend your time.
Yeah.
At different points in life, is that it?
You got it. Divide life into 5 or 10-year chunks. Consciously assign experiences to each bucket, like your 30-40 bucket. What's top priority then? Knowing you've got peak health and energy, maybe it is that trek through the Himalayas. Who knows?
So not just what you want to do, but when. Taking into account how you change over time.
Absolutely. It's like anticipating your future self, making sure you're not always delaying those dreams.
There's a lot to think about. It's like a life budget, but for experiences, not just money.
That's a great way to put it. A budget for your time, which is the most precious thing, And it's interesting, Perkins did these simulations. When would people do things if money was no object? Most of it clustered in their 20s and 30s.
Makes sense. Young, energetic, fewer responsibilities.
But in reality, most spending's midlife. We delay gratification, building careers, families, saving, for a future that might not even turn out how we expect.
So Perkins is saying reevaluate that pattern. Get those good experiences in sooner.
Exactly. Not don't save for retirement, but don't wait for retirement to start truly living.
Man, this time bucketing has got me thinking. I've always been a saver. Maybe too much. Put off some amazing stuff thinking I'll do it later. When I have more time, more money.
Easy trap to fall into, right?
Yeah.
All that retirement talk drums it into you. But Perkins says sometimes waiting makes it worse. your health, your interests change, life happens.
Exactly. Who knows what the world will be like in 10 years? What if I can't even do that Antarctica trip anymore?
That's it, and that's where your personal interest rate comes in.
We touched on that before. Remind me how it works. It feels like a key piece of this whole puzzle.
Okay, imagine this. Someone offers you Hawaii, free, but gotta wait 10 years. Do you take it?
Well, depends. In my 20s, 10 years is nothing. But in my 70s, that's a big chunk of time left.
Exactly, and as you get older, that rate goes UP. The cost of waiting increases. Your time's shorter. What's a good deal at 30 is a bad one at 60.
So it's not just the money cost, but what you give up by waiting. What else could I do at that time if I'm not hanging around?
You got it. And Perkins says apply that to everything, not just trips, starting a business, learning something new, even spending time with people. It all has that rate.
Makes you think about all the stuff you put off. Got to hit this financial goal first, but what if I don't? Or what if, when I do, I can't even enjoy it anymore?
That's the risk, right? He's not saying don't save, but be smart about it. How are you using your resources, both time and money, across your whole life?
Like that saying, don't put off till tomorrow. But Perkins adds, what you might not be able to tomorrow.
Right, because tomorrow's not guaranteed, you know? And even if it is, you might be different then. He has this story, Chris, trying to swim to the soggy dollar bar.
Oh yeah, that one hit me hard. It's so true. Our bodies don't just break down overnight, it sneaks up. Then bam, something you used to do is suddenly hard.
Perkins uses that to show health is the big multiplier. For your experience points, like neglecting your health, is like ignoring compound interest, it's that big of a deal.
Connecting it to finance, that's smart. Really drives home the point. Health is an investment too.
For sure. And never too late to start. He tells about Stephen Stern, age 52, total transformation, became a triathlete, climbed Kilimanjaro, inspiring stuff.
Shows you age isn't always the limit, it's how you treat yourself. Both physically and financially, they're connected.
Totally, and that loops back to trading money for time.
Ah, yes. This is where it gets practical. What can we actually do?
Could be simple stuff, outsourcing chores, you know? Laundry, cleaning, yard work, what's your free time worth?
I always felt that was kind of lazy. But his point is, it frees you up for better stuff, family, hobbies, relaxing.
Exactly, and he says it's even more important. Once you are successful, money's not the issue, time is.
Man, I know so many people like that, trapped in their calendar.
They traded life energy for money, now they're trying to buy it back. Perkins is saying, be smarter about how you make that trade.
So not just reaching some wealth level, but then what? Using it to build a life that's got space in it, you know?
Precisely, to pursue what matters without always being rushed.
This is making me rethink my whole approach, honestly. Like, I focus so much on the financial cushion, I forgot about needing a time cushion, too.
Time cushion, I like that. We all need that. To breathe, explore, just be, sometimes gotta pay for it.
This whole conversation is like, there's other currencies besides time and money, aren't there?
What do you mean?
Perkins is all about maximizing your cash to fuel experiences. But what about energy, relationships, skills, knowledge? Those are valuable too. Got to invest them wisely as well.
That's interesting, yeah, like expanding die with zero, beyond just dollars and cents, to your whole life.
That's it. We're all given this starting capital, right? Time, energy, potential. It's how you invest it.
And just like money loses value as you age, so do those other things. Energy fades, relationships shift, skills get outdated. Gotta make the most of them now.
It's not about accumulating. It's about cultivating. Not hoarding, but sharing. Scarcity to abundance.
Beautiful way to put it. Not dying with $0, but having invested everything into a life worth living.
Exactly. It's about the legacy you leave, not just the stuff.
Experiences, connections, contributions, that's what matters.
This is changing how I think about success. You know, it's not the job title, the paycheck, the fancy car.
Yeah.
It's using what you've got to build a life that feels right.
And success isn't a finish line. It's the whole journey. Being present, making choices that fit your value.
I spent so long chasing those external markers, you know,
Yeah.
promotions, raises, stuff. Didn't stop to ask, does this make me happy?
Easy to do. Society pushes that on us hard. But Perkins is like, define success for yourself.
Makes me think about all the things I put off. Got to hit this milestone first. But what if I never do?
That's the risk. Not saying don't have goals, but be aware of how you're spending your life now.
It's a balance. Aiming for the future, but enjoying today.
Exactly. And one way is how you use your money. Not just to buy stuff, but to create experiences that matter.
He talks about giving while living. That really hit me. Shifting from leaving an inheritance to sharing now.
powerful stuff. The best gifts aren't things, right? It's moments, memories, the joy of doing things together.
And you get to see the impact. It's like a living legacy.
Living legacy, I love that. Ripples that go beyond you.
Perkins even says, giving makes you happier. Studies show spending on others brings more joy than on yourself.
Like tapping into something deeper, connection, generosity.
And it ties back to dying with zero, if you're constantly sharing. It's like you're reducing your balance, but in a good way.
For sure, not about a number, but living fully.
Abundantly, purposefully, investing in what matters. I'm seeing dying with zero isn't about being reckless. It's about being intentional with your money, your time, investing in the right things, sharing, leaving a good mark.
It's a message that anyone can connect with, I think.
Totally agree. But how do we actually do this? It's a big mindset shift, especially about money.
It's tough to break those old habits, I get it. But remember, Perkins says it's not a rigid rule book. It's a framework. You adapt it to you.
So where do we start? What's step one?
He says figure out your survival threshold.
That's how much you need. Essentials, healthcare.
Yep, be realistic, make sure you're covered, but don't go overboard with the fear and hoarding.
He even mentions annuities for that steady income later.
Yeah, it can be complicated, but basically it's like you pay a lump sum, they guarantee you money every month. No matter how long you live, takes the worry away.
So you can be more generous, focus on the experiences.
Exactly, and once you know that number, the threshold, then you can plan how to use the rest. Time bucketing comes in.
Right, we talked about that, but making it actionable. Planning your whole life feels huge. Where do you even begin?
Perkins says, start small, next 5-10 years, that's it. What experiences do you really want in that time?
Maybe instead of just listing them, make it visual. A vision board, pictures, words, evoking those feelings.
Love that. Get the senses involved, makes it real, even put dates on there, deadlines. Hold yourself accountable.
And do it with others, loved ones. Brainstorm together.
That's it. From a solo plan to an adventure you share.
Which reminds me, Perkins talks about shared experiences. Some of our best memories are with other people, right?
Absolutely. That vacation, the concert, even just dinner, it weaves your lives together, deepens the connection.
So dying with zero isn't isolating, it's the opposite. It's about those bonds, the memories, the legacy of love. It's funny, this whole conversation, legacy is not just the money, It's the impact, the memories, what we share with people.
And that ties into maybe the biggest thing in the book. Dying with zero regrets. Perkins really hammers that.
It's so easy to get lost in the day-to-day. Put off dreams, thinking I'll have time later, or hold back, scared to fail, scared of what people think.
He's like, wake up call, you only get one life. Make it count, be intentional, chase what you love.
But that fear, it's so strong. How do you get past that? Fear of failure, fear of being broke, fear of judgment.
He gets it. Fear's normal, but it's a signal, not a stop sign. It can warn you of danger, but also keep you stuck.
So, got to tell the difference, right? Healthy fear that protects you versus the kind that shrinks you down.
Exactly. And he says one way to beat it. Focus on what you might gain, not just what you could lose.
So don't fixate on the downside. Look at the upside. What opportunities open up if you're brave?
And even if it goes wrong, setbacks, failures, they're lessons. You learn resilience, how to handle the unexpected.
It's like his own story. Successful trader, but still took risks, tried new things, got uncomfortable, and it led him to a life that really fit him. Not just making money.
Yeah, embracing the unknown, that can lead to good stuff. Especially young, less to lose, be bold, he says. Chase what excites you, even if it seems crazy.
He even says the fear of a wrong decision can be worse than actually messing up. Interesting.
He's like, reframe it. Mistakes are just lessons.
Part of the journey to finding what fits you, right?
So not about having no fear, but managing it, using it to grow instead of letting it control you.
How do you do that, though? It's easier said than done.
Surround yourself with the right people who inspire you, who are out there living it. They'll push you to be brave too,
Our friends, they influence us so much, it's true. If everyone's playing it safe, you'll probably do the same. But if they're taking risks, chasing dreams, it rubs off on you, makes you think, maybe I can too.
It's a feedback loop, good energy all around.
This makes me think about mentorship, finding those role models.
Absolutely. And it's not just older people, Mentorship goes both ways. Learn from anyone.
Young, old, different backgrounds, we all have something to teach.
It's building a community, people who get it, growth, learning, being intentional, support each other.
And that matters so much, especially when things are hard. You're not alone. People believe in you. That's powerful. This whole die with zero, it's not just about money, is it? It's how to live better, more purposefully.
Choosing what matters, experiences over stuff. leaving behind a legacy of good things, you know?
And that we have the power to choose. That's what I'm hearing. Doesn't matter your age, how much money you've got.
Create a life that's truly yours, that feels right.
As we wrap up, I got to ask, Perkins asked this in the book, if you knew you'd die with zero, what would you change today?
Whoa, that hits hard, doesn't it? Cuts through all the noise, gets to the core of what matters.
Like, imagine no regrets, you went for it, you loved fully.
And you don't got to wait till you're old to start. Little changes now can make a huge difference.
So what are you waiting for? Take that trip, start that business, tell people you care, embrace the unknown, chase what lights you up, live.
Because in the end, it's not about the bank balance. It's about a full heart. That's what matters.